So, another line for the extra credits panel. Have a little charging annex set up. And more pertinent. And street pass. Yeah. How many people this time? 10. It's always going to be 10. Chris. Booster. I need to change my greeting again because that shameless advertising is getting kind of dull. Oh, wait, whoa. What was that? I'm playing Kid Icarus. Leg-ass. This dream is a secret. Kentucky exists! Who knows, do you think this is one of the guys from Kentucky we saw on the bus?
No, we would have street passed on the bus.
Hello, smiley face. Resident Evil. Billy from New Jersey. Billy MC.
Why are you writing this upside down?
Patrick. Oh, Rhode Island exists. Barely. Oh god, I guess it doesn't exist. Hi-ho, yeah. Frankie from New York. What's up? Pokemon White version. Juggler from Massachusetts. Shiny. He likes cats. Videos are the most uninteresting, I'm sure. Justin, Maine exists. That's right, I'm going to change my text. Go there, and there's things probably by this dude with the Pikmin hat on. I'm playing me maybe. Kit Kat. Oh. Oh my, that face. Face. Oh, that is not a focus button, no doubt. Get him out. Move. What? What? Move aside. What? Move to the side one. Why? Oh, there's a giant gaping hole now. I'm fine with my charges where they are.
Then I'll hold a spot and when it's time to pack, come with me.
Pi bot. As in P-I-E bot. He likes using the internet.
What's all charges?
Vocal and tag.
All minor settlement?
What? Andy. What? My phone, the camera, your 3DS.
Sorry.
Derek Rose from Mississippi! What's up, Twitter? And this dream is a secret. What? still there? Don't worry. See, it's right there. And far too many people. Just keep getting people. So the lines are significantly long enough. And I've just been doing nothing, playing Street Pass. And 10 more people. Mouse. Massachusetts. And I obnoxiously changed my greeting. Even more obnoxious than shameless plugging. Kendall from Ohio. Oh. Okay. Yeah. Tim. I'm playing Donkey Kong. Jerry from New Hampshire. Tech. Oh, hi, Mark. Doing so cool. I'm playing Mario Kart. Sam, nice to meet you. Bill the Bell. Chris. Winter is coming. It's not a name. Almost done with Find Me. Oh, wait, no, there's more people already. There's a guy with the megaphone. Can't hear them. Megaphones. Very well. So yeah, they're sort of shouting out trivia questions that no one can hear because megaphones kind of suck. I suppose the people near them can. CTK. Vincent. Nathan. Wait. No, it's not that thing. Luke. Whatever. Brandon. Huzzah! Sam. Hey! Wonderful. Exhilarating. And there's more people. Oh, 100 times today.
Created on a mainframe computer in 1971, features of traveling to the Willamette Valley in Oregon. Yes. Yes, that is correct. I'm pretty sure it just featured dying of dysentery. I don't even know what's in here. Wait, there are people. you all have a wonderful time. Enjoy the panel.
Thank you guys for being awesome.
Oh, thank you guys for being awesome. And I'm not even kidding. You guys are fantastic.
Oh, wait, what? Oh. Why are we doing this?
Our stuff!
Yeah, you can go watch that. I'm the one with the camera. So they didn't give us anything to do with the lines in Minecon. Just sort of sat there. People in 3DSs and laptops. Yeah.
It's a two-player game.
Yeah, but otherwise I'm just
Wonder who all is in this line. Check Twitter.
Sitting on your phone.
It's the Twitter buzz. News of PAX. Concert line has begun. Oh God. Oh, he found the magic. So yeah, we're just sort of standing in this line while things happen. Yeah, lines are moving. Oh! What is this? What is this line do? I'm scared.
Do you do it all the way to the wall, or do you let them sort of like... the first style, and then I'll move over. You know what I mean? It's like, do you...
Yeah, I think you'll fit everybody in here. This. Oh, it's like run over Twitch TV. Is there like a name for those plastic things they use as backdrops? Backdrop, that's the word.
My gosh, Seven Mart, that's even low for you, man. Their name for those backdrops, that's the new form. Why no one goes to the other side?
I think they're all empty. Why do I have a cable in my pocket? Oh, my phone. Right, phone, videos, and camera. You have the other camera, right?
Yeah, other camera's in your pocket.
I assume so. It's allowed at pretty much every other thing.
I know.
Okay, that actually makes sense.
Lots of chairs. What do you desire?
I'm going to that one, I guess. Or this one. This one's just closer. You have a different hat. You can pick.
So we get
That's the end of the panel. Thanks, guys.
There you go. Just get the completely front of the. Okay.
You have a problem with complete fronts?
I don't like complete front, but I suppose it's technically the best seat.
Technically, that seat over there. The first one. Patrick guy is sitting there.
Well, it's the best.
Oh god, we're being videotaped.
Oh yeah.
Don't record the video.
They videotaped everything at Minecon. I didn't see like any cameras today. Not even like professional cameras.
I've seen a lot of professional cameras. Just
None at like the panels and stuff.
I've seen they're in the back.
Oh, in the back. That's lame.
Not watching.
So is this being streamed since it's, you know, Twitch? Oh, this camera doesn't zoom as much as the other one. It only has 30 times in
Oh my god, I hate that part.
School stuff this year.
My friend, I think
Rainbow Dash shit. I've seen so many Rainbow Dash shits. The only non-Rainbow Dash thing I think on Doopies is...
that goes right there.
Exciting entrance. I mean, I figure I have like, now that I've...
Oh, right, I have a camera too now.
Yeah, we can like record everyone in stereoscopic 3D.
I'm gonna put this away, that bot. The idea just scares me, I don't know why.
But really, there's no way to put these cameras next to each other because of this thing. Unless you like turned it upside down. Like turn it upside down, then later...
Edit this video?
Yeah. Bam. Lens cap is on, isn't it?
Oh god, give me this. Yeah, and now it's gonna be blurry as crap for the next 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
That's so exciting.
Not really. I'm gonna videotape the video guy.
That's what I did. Oh. I'm gonna videotape you videotaping the video guy.
Yeah. Still blurry.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh god.
So he's videotaping me, videotaping the camera guy.
This is a thing that you can do. Ah. Oh god. Is it like recursioning? I think it is. Oh.
Pretty much.
Let's not do that.
This empty stage is very...
It's detecting your... Oh no. I was about to say it's detecting your hair as a face. It's just trying to focus on it. It's still following you. It's magic. It knows where you are. Oh, now it's given up. Now it's following the dude next to you.
Are we gonna actually use one of the theaters?
What theaters?
The screens?
Oh, the screens. Yeah.
What's it? You're either about to lose respect or gain it.
GBA.
You have to play this. I like the tutorial.
The original GBA. And of course, 5 mini videos.
There's no redemption after that.
For people to line up behind and start asking questions. Do we have? Am I holding on to it? Well, I will continue to say words while that's getting handled. But I hope you guys are all having a fantastic PAX. I'm shocked that there are this many of you guys here to see this. Oh, I know I can do! I can tell you guys all about the Extra Credits Indie Fund. So, many of you guys probably gave dollars to. Truth be told, over the last 6 months, my life has been insane, and so it's taken longer than it should have. We finally got all the legal work done. Somehow it proved harder to start a publisher than to say, we're starting a publisher. So we finally got all the legal work done, we got all the contracts in place, we're starting to look at things. We're going to take it as slowly as we need to, because the thing that I'm terrified about is I've been on the other side of that equation a lot, but I've never worked as a publisher. And I'm terrified of squandering any of the dollars that you guys gave to us. So we're going to find projects that we believe are actually going to ship and ship in the amount of dollars that we have. That's also why we work with the Cape one. Some of you guys have asked why we do another Rocket Hub. We will once we actually launch some games under that title. But it's ready to go. We should put an episode out about it sometime in the nearest future when I have time to write it. But yeah, I'm sorry to all you guys that it's been a year since you've been following into that, and all we've done has been behind the scenes getting contracts drafted. All right, so do we have it? Looks like we have money. Anybody who wants to come up, form a line up here, and we'll just see where this goes. This is interesting. All right, yeah, shoot, go for it.
All right, it's a bit of a question, but I was at the Rooster Teeth panel this morning, and at that time, there was a gentleman who came up and gave the panel lemons.
Oh God.
Yes. Well, no, but the fact is, this is one of the lemons that was handed out to the panel, who decided they had other things they wanted to do and didn't want the lemon, but it's in pristine condition. It's still fresh and smells very nicely. And I was wondering if you would like a lemon.
I would love a lemon.
Oh God, it detected the lemon as a face.
Don't mind the little black spots on it. The guy who handed it out had his Twitter account on it, but I figured you didn't need that, so I just kind of wrote it off.
Fascinating. I'm very sure that that is not how I expect this panel to begin.
Hi, James.
Hey, how you doing?
I have no fruit for you, but questions from... Questions from the education through play that I didn't get to ask you.
All right, okay. In fact, I'm seeing one of the panelists right here out front of the education play. Come on up, and if you're better at answering this than I am, you're welcome to this mic. So yeah, shoot.
Okay, so you raised the problem with the gamification of education, which is that there's no really metric for games. And I think that the current metric we have for our education system is really one of the major problems. The fact that it creates this disconnect between what we're learning and what our grades are. So the goal becomes getting the grades instead of learning. So how do you create a metric that isn't the goal? Like, if we created a metric for games, then wouldn't people just want to fulfill that metric and then skate through it the same way we do now?
That is a fantastic question, and while I think of a fantastic answer, I can wait.
So, what metric would you give for having shipped a game, for example? I mean, you can measure the sales of it, but you wouldn't give someone an A or a B in game design. They've actually made something, and it's creative and unique, and is the ultimate kind of credential. So one way of doing it is project-based learning. And if you make the goal of game education and using games education that you get to create your own game to earn a right to be on the real artist's ship, like a literal metaphorical pirate ship. It's what we have one in Kogi. We have a little pirate ship called the real artist ship. Creating things like that, like, you know, Lydia from Minecraft has people who are creating mods, and those mods have thousands of players, and one of those mods was so big that Minecraft acquired it called Bucket. How would you give a metric to that? So I would say that's one way, it's just to get rid of the grade as the premise.
So there wouldn't even really be a metric so much as you've learned it, you've made the game, you're part of it.
Your metric is you are the creator of this unique thing, which there's no measure for it.
All right, thanks.
That was fantastic, actually.
Take credit for it, you're good.
It's one of the issues for me, by the way, that I hope the metric eventually becomes, can you pass it on, right? If we're doing it through games, as you had mentioned, and game creation, can you take that knowledge that you've gotten and pass it on to the next generation? People come right underneath you in school, in college, wherever you may be. And by the way, I'm totally going to do a plug for you guys. I don't know if you saw the shirt he was wearing, but Code Hero is totally awesome, and you should all check it out. It's exactly this, right? It's education through games done in a way that, unlike our standard interactive flashcards, doesn't suck. All right, yeah, shoot.
All right, just another short addendum to the teaching through it technology thing. Have you ever heard of the logo programming language?
Oh yes, I love that.
Sort of a history lesson on like teaching people with computers in a way, and probably something good to know if you're looking into that. Just wanted to comment on that and see what you would think.
Oh yeah, the logo was fantastic. It's actually how I learned back when I was, what, 8? But that and hypercard stacks taught me everything I need to know about push and pop. So, no, that's great. Thank you. Eric.
All right. This is a kind of personal question. It's, well, for me. I'm hoping to get into game design, and I don't really know how to get there. I'm in exactly what position I want to hold. It's kind of like, I would say game designer, but that just sounds silly, naive. At least for me. So I'm studying currently computer science, and I'm wondering if I should.
It's a cat, you're not learning anything.
And maybe anthropology or something. I don't know.
Well, I will confess that my route, I actually got a classics degree. There wasn't really education in game making at the time. But don't in any way abandon any dream of being a game designer, because it's totally feasible, especially today in an industry where we have all sorts of new distribution methods where independent games are actually viable. For me, I would say that the thing I would caution against is don't study computer science to get into the games industry as a programmer, or if you really want to be as a designer. Study the thing that you love, right? And design covers a lot of the field. So don't feel restricted in that. Don't feel like you have to go to a standard game design school to learn anything. I'm a huge proponent of DigiPen. I think those are the best game design schools out there. But there's a lot to be said for traditional education as well. Once you're there, try and get an internship as soon as you possibly can in college. Just each summer try and find places. After you've got an internship, or even if you haven't, go to GDC every year. Go meet people, because the problem with our industry is that there's not a good way to sort of a good designer from a bad designer through a piece of paper, right? Especially when you're a junior designer, you have nothing on your resume. And the best way to sort of separate yourself out is to go to GDC, get some FaceTime with people who possibly can who are in the industry, and get a card from them, right? And mail them so your resume doesn't go into the student's stack, but it's put in a different pile. So that would be my recommendations.
Thank you.
Hey. So I've been in a few classes recently where we've talked about what is a game, what defines a game. And it's kind of made me hate the term because I feel like it limits us. And we have all these preconceived notions of, oh, this should be a game, and this is, a piece of artwork, blah, blah, blah. And so I guess I'm wondering, do you think that it's useful to call what we do games, or do you think it would be better just to kind of throw that away and just make it something that is fun, or something that is engaging, or emotionally connecting?
I prefer the term interactive experience just because of the baggage that games come with. I think that there's a lot of silly semantic debate that just holds us back over
How is the concert going?
Does it have to have a win condition to be a game? Do I care? Is it good? Do I learn something from it? Awesome, done. I think that interactivity is the core of reading, and so that's the one place that we can't abandon. But beyond that, and I think that everything from the conversation we're having right now to what you play on your Xbox is so.
Okay, we've never done this before. I like your hair. I actually have two completely unrelated questions. Should I just pick one of them?
No, shoot. I'll pick one.
The more serious one is that I was wondering, I've gotten a bachelor's degree in art, and having done so, this is before I'd really even thought about the idea of, going to school for game design or anything like that. And from what I can tell, there's nothing for game school, and there's not a bachelor's, there's no master's that I've been able to see, or maybe I just haven't been looking hard enough.
So I teach the master's at DigiPen. There's a master's at USC that's really good, and there's a master's at Carnegie Mellon that's actually pretty good.
Okay.
Not specifically in art, but in just game design.
Okay, cool. That pretty much actually was the question there.
All right, then question two?
So question two is actually more fun, and I wanted to say that I just started watching your show very recently. I got hooked on it when you were doing the three-parter on RPGs, Western versus JRPGs. I love the whole thing, showed it to my friends and everything. At the end of it, you were talking about how if you want to encourage people on this, give them some money. That was the big thing. When they do something good. I was wondering if I throw a few titles of RPGs, JRPGs I've enjoyed in the past, if you could recommend some games for me to throw money at.
Warden's with you.
Wow. I should charge for endorsements. All right, let's play this game.
Okay. I would say probably, if I were to say my 4 ones that are my favorites of all time, would probably be Paper Mario, 1,000 Year Door. Right, absolutely. Chrono Trigger.
Yeah.
The very original, absolute original Final Fantasy. Love to make that one. And crap, there's one other one.
That was really good, I like that.
Okay, I think I'm gonna have to run with those ones because I can't remember what the 4th one. I'll just throw the original Paper Mario in there as well, because that was awesome too.
Alright, so, lots of Paper Mario.
I love Paper Mario. I know!
But I would say for more modern stuff, I would go with Radiant Historia for
Yes.
things like the Chrono series. Not quite Chrono, but very little is. And then I would say, I would say The World Ends With You.
Yes!
It's a great game. I would say if I could try it, it's a little bit more core than Paper Mario, but again, it has a much more fluid interactive system for fighting than your standard menu selection JRPG.
Okay.
All right, awesome.
Thank you very much.
Megami Tensei.
This may have been answered somewhere else or in another particular place, like maybe the forums or something like that I just don't see. But how did this whole, it's a much simpler question, how did this whole thing sort of come together? Like, give me an origin story. It doesn't have to be in panels or anything, but...
All right, so the origin of this. Have much of you guys heard this story? No. Okay, we did a couple of you guys, but not really. All right, so how Extra Credits came together. I used to write for pretty much every industry-facing publication there was, for Gamma Sutra, for Edge, that sort of thing. But for a really long time, I wanted to talk to the consumer because you guys are what matters. And I just couldn't feel I didn't have a venue to do it. I didn't know how to do it. I've been trying and thinking about it. And then one day, I'm sitting at Activision, and I'm at lunch checking my email, and I get this email from a kid at Stanford College of Art and Design, being like, how do you pronounce your last name? Because I'm going to try and make a video for my final presentation on my articles. And I was like, oh, here you go, it's port now. And done, I'd love to see it. I was really curious. And I just, my jaw dropped where I saw it. I was like, this is it. You've got it. This is how you actually talk to people, rather than the esoteric industry. And so that's how Extra Credits began. For all you guys, the reason that Dan's voice sounds the way it does, that original project that he was working on, because it was science and art design, and its animations, and they're rigorous about their lengths of time, had to be 10 minutes exactly to the second. He finished it. It was like 10 minutes, 20 seconds. And this is college, so clearly it's 3 a.m. the day before. So of course it got sped up, and that's been his voice ever since.
Hey James, I'm curious if you, Allison, and Dan have ever thought about making a game, even just like, you know, joking around, like, hey, what if there was a game that's like Paper Mario but better?
Paper Mario? No.
If so, what if it's like?
We talked about it a lot, but honestly, when we decided to do Game Fund, we sort of made that choice. I'd rather enable a lot of you guys to make great games, right? Again, I'd rather see more, it's the same reason I teach, right? Like, I'd rather enable more people to make more great games than do one piece myself, right? And so, it may happen someday, but I can't imagine ever thinking, well, I could spend $100,000 making a game, or I could give 5 young, hungry teens $20,000 and see if we get 2 or 3 great games out of it. So it's always that creation is hard for me. So probably not in the near future. Sure.
Hello.
Hey.
I have a question on the writing side of the industry. Because I know how, like, you break into the films industry if you want to write, and I know how to do it for stories because I've done that. How do you, if you want to be a video game writer, how would you go about that?
Do I got any writing friends in the room? Well, you know what I mean? I was hoping I had a Bible friend or something. So, the short of it is, I really wanted someone else to crush games. The short of it is, on the writing side, it was impossible to get in at the entry level. There just weren't entry level writing jobs. That's still true for the AAA industry for the most part. But it's not as true for independent games, for iPhone, Facebook games. And so what I would say is start there. Start writing for these sorts of things. Get a resume of games you've done that are successful, that are known for their writing. Make sure you get them reviewed, right? Make sure that TouchGame or whatever does a little write-up. So that way, if you do want to move to AAA games, you've got that all there. But you're not going to start as a writer in AAA companies. It's just not they don't hire you at junior level unless you've got a published TV show or a movie under your belt or something like that. Foolishly, you hire from outside the industry for those positions.
Sounds a lot like book writing, and you can't get in at like random house until you've done it somewhere. So, all right. Thank you. Good luck, though. Thanks.
So my question from earlier was kind of stolen, asking how everything started, so I guess I'll kind of make a follow-up question to that. How does it feel to have created what could end up being one of the greatest movements in gaming, just being able to get your message out there to so many people? I mean, how does that feel? And then it's just growing bigger and bigger and bigger, especially with you starting up a publishing company.
I appreciate it a great deal. I'm not sure exactly how one answers. How does it feel to be lost?
Awesome.
I hadn't thought about it in those terms. Well, honestly, we'll see the results from all of you guys, right? It's my hope that one of the reasons I started Extra Credits was because nobody's going to let me make better games until consumers demand better games, right? And I think that's sort of on you guys. And I think that you're also, a lot of you guys are the generation that's going to get to make the games that I never got to make. And so we'll see where it goes. Hopefully, my only hope is that it can do some good, right? If we can use the power of this medium for just a few more positive things, because this show is this, then yeah,
it's worth me being up till 4 a.m. most nights trying to write these things. So thank you.
And thank you.
Hi. Mine's a little darker, but still kind of questionable.
Okay, Avery. Sorry, continue.
This is my first time at PAX, and I loved it, but I also found some of the games downstairs were kind of disappointing. Like, I played Spec Ops and I quit after 2 minutes because it just seemed like stereotypical generic shooter 2012. But,
Call of Duty.
Like, I guess what I'm asking is, do you feel like the gaming industry is running out of ideas, or do you feel like, what do we need to do to make it right to be? It shocks me.
Oh no, this is a great question, and I think that's sort of what you guys are doing.
Yeah, here, introduce yourself, and I think some of what you guys are doing answers this quite well. Oh, well, thanks.
My name's Avery. I'm apparently the guy that James thinks of if someone says darker. I guess that's a good point. I'm pretty lightly dressed today compared to you. My name's Avery. I work at a games company called PopCap. They make really awesome games. I can't take credit for much of it. I get a little bit of input here and there, and then mostly I get other people to play our games and hopefully enjoy them. I can say that...
What about the other PopCap studio? Can you talk about it at all?
I can talk about it a little bit. I don't know a great deal about it. Frankly, we created kind of a side project called Fourth and Battery for some of the ideas that were coming out of PopCap brains that were awesome ideas and would make great games, but they just weren't quite PopCap. They either didn't have the same sort of legs, or they just didn't necessarily embody the exact same design principles. And I'm basically really happy with what they've done. They've released a couple games so far. They've all been free. I think the coolest one was the Make-A-Wish Foundation had a young boy who wanted to design a game. And on their own time, a bunch of my coworkers got together and they put together, this young boy came in and we thought, oh, you know, he's going to come up with an idea like, it should have robots and time travel and guns and be more awesome than everything else by 30%. You know, we were fully expecting this to come out. He had a design document, he had specifications, and he really did his work. And ultimately the game Allied Star Police, I still think available for free on iPhone as the end result of the work of my coworkers, and put out under the label Fourth and Battery. You know, I can even say, last week there was a challenge that was issued by a fake Twitter account called Peter Molyneux. He said that, you know, as you said, along very dark lines, the games industry is challenged. We started out, you know, blasting aliens from behind cover, and now, 30 years later, we're blasting aliens from behind cover. And it's a comedy account, and a whole bunch of people in 35 cities on 5 continents spend 48 hours each making video games, and now there's more than 300 games based on the preposterous and unworkable game design ideas from this comedy Twitter feed that you can check out at whatwouldmollydo.com.
And actually, some of my students came in and did this, and their games are awesome. So the game is, and it's a platformer, right? And it's the Peter Molyneux tweet, oh, I wish there was a game where the tutorial came after the credits. So,
the first you see the game, credits.
Thing more, right? And you play through, and you beat the game, and credits roll, and it says, you've unlocked the start of the tutorial. And so you look at the tutorial, it says, your goals, do not hurt your friends or steal their money. But let's actually form a panel, since it seems like there's actually a lot of you guys here, and I feel weird doing this alone, so can we actually get these mics live? Awesome, great. So I saw you, let's go, I saw some loading rate runner people, come on up. Awesome. All right, guess what's Minecraft? Yeah, absolutely. Actually, you might even hang out there. I'm happy to see this one. All right.
Oh, perfect, Jeremy. This is
So informal.
You're also James. Alright, let's see. Are any of you guys from Haunted Temple here? No, nobody from Haunted Temple?
No,
Haunted Temple. I saw some of the guys who were making Dark Meta. Any of you guys? Oh, yeah, come on up. Come on up. If we maybe ask you questions about how to make tablet stuff awesome. We got one of those. Hey, that looks pretty good right now. Alright, now let's reassemble. Now we can do this thing. Questions, sir.
Still part of the audience.
If you can't beat them, make them join you. All right, so you kind of answered my question and then went off on stealing the audience. So I guess the games you mentioned were free and were, you know, indie games, which I like. I hope most people here. I buy the Humble Bundle. I buy all the indie games. It seems like all the $60 games are like really generic and crappy.
Well, so, hey, everybody on this side of the table is making games which are, I mean, insane from the perspective of a couple of years ago.
And this guy.
Oh, yeah, and over there. So, and, I mean, who knew we'd be making stuff on a tablet, right? Like, but I think this is all going to trickle up. Right now, the $60 games industry is desperately trying to readjust. You look at EA, you look at THQ, you look at these companies that are really floundering, continuously trying to make acquisitions to do something about the fact that their current business model is actually failing. We're going through a period of transition. During this period, they're going to be as risk-free as they possibly can, and in doing so, actually incur higher risk. But I believe that's going to end, hopefully come the next console cycle. And I think that in the first console cycle, when we start doing day-and-day digital releases or physical products, you're going to see that line between an Xbox Live release being thought of as a small title and a thing like this being thought of as a big title. I think that's going to break down the curve. It's going to change everything. So hopefully there's hope.
Hopefully. So my question was sort of along the lines of that. What was the last game that you played or saw where it had a mechanic or it was so odd or different that you kind of said, why didn't I think of this? Because I can make lots and lots of money.
We're totally going down this whole line.
Start over there.
I have a great answer to that. There's this game by a DigiPen student, and I bet you had something to do with this. That was released, and I forget the name, maybe you remember, but it has this mechanic that I can't tell you. And the review just said, oh my goodness, you have to try this game. I can't believe I didn't think of this. What a brilliant mechanic.
That was a good one.
Unfortunately, we can't tell you what it's called, but if you search for it, we can't tell you what the mechanic is. It's brilliant. I've told everyone that, and it just spreads like that. So don't give away everything in your game. Like, let there be mystery and tell people not to disclose it.
All right, now that he's bought you all time with his knowledge, that's good because I'm just going to lurk.
I think when I played Swords and Sorcery, it was just to be playing a game on the iPad that kind of like fully immerses you in a game where I'm like sitting in the dark with my headphones on and just the way
Isn't that how you're supposed to play games?
Tablet and how just like interactive it is. I think that's something where it's like you're seeing, you know, he's working on iPad games or tablet games, and all of a sudden it's just so different to be playing like right here with my hands, and that would be my game.
I guess I'll bring it back to the Molly Jam because I haven't slept since then. We had the opportunity to pitch a bunch of ideas, and one of the other teams came up with a concept, a way to execute on the idea. What if you were, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember the exact tweet, what if you were a good person, but a psychopath was controlling your arms to shoot everyone around you? And ultimately, I was making my own game with the team, but I really kind of wanted that to, in a sense, I wanted that team to fall apart so I could go work on this game. The mechanic to me, I thought was brilliant. It's kind of an anti-shooter. So it's called Pathology. I recommend you guys check it out. It's going to take you 3 minutes to download it and 5 minutes to play it. If anyone can get the good ending, the development team couldn't manage it. But they've never actually managed to beat the game themselves, but it's a platformer. You run sideways, left or right, and the entire time your character is shooting, and you have to choose which direction they're shooting. And your objective is either like, okay, well, I've started killing people, I want to see how many I can get, or timing things such that by jumping and shooting in opposite directions, you never actually hit anyone with your bullets. And meanwhile, the guy is running along going, oh my god, what's wrong with me? I'm really sorry. Someone please stop me. At the end of the game, he comes to a cliff and realizes the only way to stop it is to kill himself. It's called Pathology. It's brilliant. We should have made $1 billion off of it already. The anti-shooter.
And so I'm not supposed to call on you when someone brings up the word dark. I'm standing here, so for me, this is going to sound really weird, but Fingal, if you guys have seen it, Fingal Mine, I just had never thought about actually incorporating the sense of touch, the actual sense of touch, like between two human beings, as the fundamental mechanic in a game. Is it good? I can't really answer that. But that one, I was like, that is really something I never would have thought of. And then the other one, if any of you guys have gotten to see at GDC or Indicate or anywhere where it's been MagFest, and should give more shouts out to MagFest, actually, MagFest is awesome. So, Johann Sebastian Joust is amazing. And it really goes back to, I mean, it's the best game, I'm totally going to start this. All right, it is the best game for PlayStation. They will never publish it, and it is definitively the best game for PlayStation. Because it gets back and asks the question, how can we take these old playground games we all love, these fundamentals pad, and incorporate all this amazing technology we've built? And so those would be my two. But thoughts?
Wow, yeah, it's a really broad and awesome question. I think, okay, now this is weird. Go with me on this journey. And it's not journey, even though that's awesome. Okay, so I was playing Draw Something recently, which is not the first, yeah, it's awesome, but it's not the first game to try and do the visual dictionary with, with a touch device. What I love about Draw Something is when you get to watch the replay of your drawing and see when the other person guessed it. For some reason, I'm fascinated by that. I'm always like just really anally watch them and be like, when did they guess it? I did so much more work than I had to do. I really enjoy that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So everybody's talking about, I think, fun mechanics and things they enjoy, and one of the things I'm a little obsessed about is how can we make different games? And the industry is focused around money, and we all have to make things that sell. So some of the most interesting things that you guys have discussed, like the Molyneux and everything, are side projects that people work on. I have never played these games, so maybe it's not qualified for an answer, but they're hard to get a hold of because there's only one of each. A woman named Brenda Brathwaite, if you don't know who she is, get very familiar with her. She's an industry legend. She has a side project called Mechanic is the Message. And she makes games about the Holocaust, about, what was the...
So Train is the Holocaust game. And Train, by the way, you should just all look up. If you haven't, if you don't already know it, it's a brilliant use of mechanic as metaphor that I think really shows we can do more with this medium and that we can use rules to talk about much deeper things. But
these games will, they've made people cry, they've educated people, they do things that are what the medium should be doing, which is teaching us things and helping us to understand things. She started it all, if I understand this properly, when her daughter came home from school and said, Mommy, we learned about slavery today, and she said, oh really, what did they teach you? And said, oh, well they all got this free ride to America on a boat.
God.
So she sat down and she made a game which effectively taught her daughter how awful the journey was to America for these slaves. And it sounds like a little thing, like, why would I ever want to play that? Well, her daughter learned something that day, and that's like what we really need to be pushing for. So, anything, Brenda?
No pressure. I'm going to follow with a game that was at GDC, but I did not play, but I saw it at GDC and went, oh, no, I'm not playing that. It was Deep Sea. It was the game that you play with a mask and your eyes are blacked out and you are playing a gas mask and it's incredibly restrictive and there's no visual input, it's all audio input. And so basically you're going around underwater and trying to paint monsters and you don't know what the monsters look like because there's no visuals, but so you imagine something that's way worse than this impossible they could ever possibly render. And that's amazing and it's cool.
Apparently someone who was trying it after he was done described like this crazy Cthulhu monster that they'd seen in the game, and the developers were like, you know the game's audio only.
But I think that's neat. I think just exploring different ways of engaging our imaginations and telling stories in games that aren't necessarily just visually based. My glib answer is the thing that I'm really digging right now is the character designs of the bears in Triple Town. Because they're so cute, and then you kill them, and then I was talking to the guys at Sprite Fox, and they're like, it's a metaphor for colonization. Those are First Nations people. After I introduced my very good First Nations friend Cam to the game, and he really liked it. So, that's a fun story.
Thank you very much. You're going to be awesome.
Cheers! Question isn't really quite as interesting as that last one. It's a development-based question, actually, two-pronged. First one, actually, well, if you take a web perspective on the web industry right now, if you really boil things down, you sort of have like a back-end development process, a front-end design, and then a third sort of area that's a front-end developer that will sort of combine both in like this hybrid area. In not necessarily a AAA sort of range, but even like the indie development series, like is there any sort of hybrid kind of area like that going on, or is it mostly usually pretty well split?
Good question. I think probably everybody here does it differently. If you want to show, what is your development process?
We're figuring that out. We just started that in Quickgra's the Kickstarter title, so we're obviously trying not to waste all your money. But our development process is becoming professionalized by asking for mentors. I would say the number one development process is that we ask our mentors to help us figure one out. Jack Bogdan and Keith Fuller, our producer, can help you guys with that. So all I can say is find someone else who's done it to mentor you to make that role for yourself. If that's what you want to do. You don't want to have to pick sides and do only one.
Anybody else? Like, what are you guys' process?
Our development process is, I think like many companies, the best way to describe it is, imagine you have to fly from Chicago to California, and they've thrown an incomplete plane up in the air and all the passengers are on board it, and you have to build it while it's flying there. So as you can imagine, there's a lot of different approaches you take to save your life. Try and keep that plane from crashing, and it's not easy. Really, this industry, as old as it is kind of young because the technology keeps getting reborn every 3 to 5 years. There's a new engine, there's a new hardware, there's a new tablet that, oh my god, that's a new interface, right? How do we make a game for people who touch things instead of use a controller? Maybe you want to stand in front of a camera and jump around like a monkey. These things are giant changes and they completely throw monkey wrenches. So unfortunately, there is really no set process. Every team has their own way of going about doing it. They all have a lot in common, but I don't have enough time to talk about it without stealing the rest of the panel.
And I mean, it's funny because it was exactly the answer I expected to get. Almost all the indie development I've seen, everybody wears a lot of hats, and you are doing what needs to be done to get that first title shipped, right? Professional development is much more like, I don't mean indie is not professional, but AAA development it's much more community level, where you sort of
Get the line.
you're backing something out, you got very carefully divvied up silos, but really the indie world, like,
We have 20 more minutes here.
what's amazing is ship stuff in any of these worlds. but yeah, so
10 more minutes.
Unfortunately, I wish we could give you real answers. It really is really as you go.
So not even 1 minute per.
Someone wants to say find a mentor or find sort of from a hybrid position, sort of find a way to pick up the right hats to wear. The wonders and magic of the C section aside, what would you say would be the next sort of semi-popular language if someone wants to transition from an HTML, JavaScript, Java, jQuery background to more PC development?
C#.
Well, PC development.
Yeah, go for it. If you know JavaScript, you know Unity script, and Unity is a language which I was a web developer who wanted to be a game developer and thought I couldn't do that, so I put it off year after year, and then I saw Unity allowed me to make the switch. So I had not supplied myself, but Code Hero is a game that teaches the Unity script and FPS and you code out of the code base.
Yeah, I like this.
Photo endorsement.
For me, it's if you want to be doing the majority, if you're building your engine from scratch, it's C++, right? That's where you're going to be good money. But otherwise, yeah, there's plenty of scripting languages out there, which if you're already a web developer, you have no problem picking up, which allow you to do a great deal with today's tools. I mean, that's one of the amazing things about being developers. Yeah, tools are pretty good stuff.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, sir. To all of you who are currently wearing my shirt, you guys are awesome.
No problem. I would have sold my company car if I would have been fired to give you the money. Anyways, one, you have to tell Allison and Dan for me not to stop being awesome.
All right, I will. They were
Two, with the pervasiveness of DLC being added on to add extra stuff to games, do you think that some game developers might take a shortcut and like cut the engine from the game and just
Cut the engine from games. Let's see, cut the engine from a car and see how that works.
So it could become a trend, you know. How to phrase this without finding myself. Do I think we'll start selling the ending? No, I'm pretty sure that is going to backfire for us as Wrath, the great game that it was. I mean, we're trying to find new ways to monetize, right? Right now, we can't charge more than $6 a box, that's insane. But at the same time, the ballooning budgets of AAA and the competition that we've got right now, the development budgets are just going up, right? Like Star Wars was $750 million. That's madness, right? And so everybody's trying to find new ways to recruit money. The problem is that a lot of the big AAA game companies aren't willing to take the step into some of the more modern monetization methods that you see from the free-to-play space, even from the indie space, right? And so I think that's eventually going to hurt them, but that's why it's happening. And we're going to see a lot of weird and negative experiments in that area for the next couple of years until these sorts of stuff happen.
Also, I texted Dan, and he said that he will indeed not stop being awesome, but only because you asked so nicely.
Okay. Have any of you ever heard of the new Google Glass project?
Oh, yes. So much.
Okay. Have you wondered how that could be incorporated into gaming?
Have I wondered?
Falling into the tree.
He's been wondering that since he was 3 years old.
Well, that's pretty close. I probably read Snow Crashing before. So, are you guys all familiar with the Google Glasses? No. So, for anybody who's not familiar with Google Glasses, if anybody has watched the Terminator vision, where you got stuff printing up on the screen inside of the glass. There are two things. Unfortunately, we use the acronym ARG for two things, right? Augmented reality and alternate reality. But augmented reality games haven't lived up to their potential so far. You guys have all seen games where you hold your phone over the world and you get to see ghosts in the world and it looks totally disconnected. I think that as far as games go, your ability to have that constant overlay is going to be one of the avenues that game takes. Like, I think that once those glasses come out and get refined, we're going to see games that really do lead over to the real world, that are just a skin for the world as we know it. I think that's not the best use of it. I mean, I think it's a great use, but I think that there are a million other uses for science, for technology, for all these things, hopefully in the creative behaviors, that you'll be able to use those for, but the possibilities for games are just limitless. The only danger is that we have to start thinking about design for the real world, right? What happens if
there's something that you want to get and it's spawned in the street. Right? Like, we're not, right now we can't pinpoint where you are better than 20, 30 feet that you've used Google Maps. And so that creates a bunch of awkward problems. But it's going to be very interesting to solve. Have any of you guys looked at the glasses at all? Yeah. Everything? Yeah.
So Google X is a secret lab, which has become less secret with the announcements of the Glass project. And they are the ones who are hopefully going to help ubiquitize this hardware, along with others who are going to compete with that. But we are initially building a tool to help people build virtual worlds inside the computer. But it's very easy to see that
4 minutes
if
before
you're
we're supposed to be clear
a game developer now, you are an app developer for the world that becomes 3D and now omnipresent. So in the same way that people used to only use 3D for games, and now, like, you know, your dashboard on Xbox, just like play movies, that's 3D. And everything is 3D. In the same way gamification is kind of like jumped out of the credit card points system and sort of threatened to take over our lives. I think that if you're a game developer, you have the same toolkit you need to build these apps, which is 3D programming tools. The only challenge is to, as you put it, to find the markers that allow you to anchor everything. And once we get the ability to find multiple markers and just tag an entire scene and accurately place things within that, your app can make a leapfrog in quality, but build it now. If you have an augmented reality idea, build it as though the marker technology existed, and just, you know, get by on, you know, black and white marker stuff for now. You can do it later.
Before I go.
So I'm working to develop games for students in elementary schools to help them learn concepts in many different ways, one being unit-based math. And what I would like to do is to avoid using language or words in menu systems, because I want the kids to be able to just walk up and say, oh, I want a 1 unicorn, whoop, and a little square pops up. Do you think it's worthwhile to try and avoid language and words in menu systems? And if you think it's worthwhile, then do you have any suggestions where I can go to research this further?
So you have mentioned one?
Yeah, I was looking. Yeah, putting words in games is actually a huge mistake, and it comes not from what you think, not from can the person read it, can the person understand it. If you want to reach as many people as possible, you've just reached only the people who can speak English. So what you want to do is you want to go for the most intuitive interface possible. You want to go for icons that suggest sort of an all-culture understanding of what it is. Really challenging. This is not easy and it's not trivial. Some departments have genius masters, like doctorate degree people who handle this sort of thing. But the biggest problem is as soon as you do it in English, you have to localize it. And that's a huge headache because not only do you have to worry about, okay, well, fine, I'll just use Google Translate. Good luck with that. You've tried it, and you'd be surprised at the wrong answers you come up with that you don't find out until people from Germany started pounding your forum and telling you that there's no way that this is German and they can't understand what the heck it is your game is saying. So if you can, avoid words, avoid text words, avoid spoken words. If you're doing it for an education, you want to reach as many people as possible and you want it to be as intuitive as possible so people can pick it up and immediately understand it. Your challenge is how to do that without words.
So, do you know of anyone who's done it that you think would be a good example, or?
So I would give Marvel Superhero Squad Online is actually a pretty good, they were aiming at a very young audience, and so they're pretty good. I'm a big fan for just usability in general of looking at Toontown, Disney's old MMO. Do any of you guys know that?
Jesse Shell worked on that.
Yeah.
When I met him, I said, did you design Toontown? Because it had my roommate and his son playing together, even after like they were separated. And, like, that's a really good game to look at.
Okay.
All right, so we have about 5 more minutes. And it looks like we have more than 5 more minutes of questions.
Speed run.
All right, go for it. All right, so I am a student of video game design at a relatively unheard of video game studio. They actually haven't had a graduating class yet. That'll be this year. So basically my question is, with that being said, I know that the job industry and the game industry is difficult, to say the least. So is it more like portfolio-based, like the things I've done, or having a school on my resume that nobody's heard of? Is that going to hurt me in any way?
What is it that your training can do?
Right now, it's just kind of a broad thing is just under video game design. I'm looking at specializing in 3D character design, but I haven't quite made that decision yet.
I think honestly, there's no one answer to that, and it's really going to depend on what sort of skill sets you plan on bringing forward. If you're going to do a lot of 3D model design, your portfolio is going to be as important as anything else you could ever present. The answer is that your education, your skills, your portfolio, your resume, your contacts, every one of these is essential in landing your first job. And working on indie games, helping out friends, volunteering, doing internships. Every single one of these is an important step, but without knowing specifically what it is that you'd like to do, there's no one answer for all of those different disciplines.
And then one more thing, how much would you recommend like a major at or a master's degree at a bigger prestigious university?
So I guess I can give that one real quick. Really, it just buys you 2 more years to find your job. If you want to teach, it's awesome, but past that, don't even worry about it. You're fine. Just make sure your portfolio is strong, make sure you know exactly what you want to do. Go to GDC, get your portfolio out to everyone you can find, and get somebody to say yes. So. All right, thank you. Next, anybody who wants to, just the same answer, and we'll just take one of the first answers and move on. Go for it.
All right, I've been developing my own game for...
All right.
I've been developing my own game for the last couple of years, and I've gotten to the point where I'm starting to think about possibilities for distribution, marketing, and all that. And culinary school hasn't really prepared me for that at all. What would I recommend for someone really has no connections to the game industry?
So what platform? I would recommend platforms that you can self-publish, either being Facebook or iPhone. But if you can't do that, if you go to PC, contact Steam, submit it to all the competitions so you get some notoriety, and then finally, I would say contact the Hungary guys if you go down to PC, Mac, and Linux supported. All right, next question.
Okay, easy question time.
I'm not understanding this sibling. Are you saying you're giving us an extra 20 minutes? Is that what you're saying? All right, so we've got this one. We'll be around. I don't know if you guys will be around, but I'm going to hang around for a little bit to answer the question. Oh, yeah, actually, let's do one more, and then we got a couple announcements, and then we're going to go.
Okay, easy question. Favorite game soundtracks? Go.
Ooh, boy, that's a tough question.
Mirror's Edge.
I would actually say the same game that I said before, because I was just driving with my boyfriend in the mountains and like listening to the soundtrack for Swords and Sorcery, like it was, yeah.
I'm gonna go with Chrono Cross.
He did that to steal mine. I had to do it with Chrono Cross or Chrono Trigger.
Yes. Well, then I'm going to go with one that has a special place in my heart, which is Final Fantasy VII. But the soundtrack to F-Zero did help us make a ferry once, because it encouraged the driver to go faster.
I've got two. The first was not truly the soundtrack. There was a CD that you could mail order in the very first Mortal Kombat. It had like 9 basic techno songs, Johnny Cage's Not Afraid to Die, everybody know it. Amazing. And any Jet Grind soundtrack.
Jet Grind soundtracks, but also the soundtrack to Journey's really good.
I'd also give a shout out to Big Giant Circles just released, one of the guys who's working on Mass Effect 2 released his CD of remixes. It's awesome. You should all check that out too. Alright, so we're almost done, but I want you guys to announce your panel. Because
we have a panel. The loading ready, an evening with loading ready run from 10 o'clock is tomorrow night. I know that conflicts with the concerts, we're sorry, but it'll be more of this and some screenings and a bunch of fun stuff, so come and hang out with us in the Manticore Theater, which is like this on the other side.
it's here, alright?
It's here? It is here?
It is there. Oh, excellent. So just don't leave from now to then.
There's actually one more panel. I'm wearing it. I'm making the Paint the Line card game with Kiko. We were slammed today. Be sure you come down to the booth and play it. We're down in tabletop, and Kiko and I are doing a panel tomorrow at 5 in the Merman Theater downstairs.
I'm actually just going to give a shout out to this form.
It is in this theater.
It is in this theater.
Thank you, enforcers.
The enforcers, by the way, everybody thank your enforcers. friends of mine in the indie scene in Seattle have a game down in the independent scene down there. It's called Skulls and Shogun. Yeah! All right! Yeah. And tell them I sent you. It'll blow their minds. Maybe else you guys got announcements? Here's Mike.
Skulls of the Shoguns is so far, as far as I'm aware, the only game development to survive a major flood.
That's true.
And we're in the Kickstarter booth at Room 103, along with a lot of other amazing Kickstarter games. And the essence of, being your card-carrying, indie member, come check it out. There's some amazing stuff in there.
All right, thank you guys for coming. This was awesome.
JRPGs. Let's go to the concert. There's not even room at the concert. What? I'm hungry. There's room at the concert if we go now.
Gosh, don't respond to this. So I apologize. I come to game that eventually. On Monday. The same night that Mitch. I think the email. It's the crazy busy. No one. Nowhere to sit. The other email. I think he's still in.
That one's pretty. I like it.
Well, I have Minecraft chick because I read your guys. I've got.
Settle it a little bit.
Yeah, it's like.
Go to Brazil, right? Can't be too famous, right?
Wait, that's
the whole. But it's just a lot of.
Hi, how are you? I saw you stand up there. I was like.
All right, so we're gonna take this and hang out right outside, but they're kicking us out. I went down there because people would tell me all the things. These things, James, you sort of. Thank you. I will tell the rest of the team to continue being so.
I wouldn't have known about that. Can I stroke your beard? Or hug you?
Either one works.
The answer is yes.
And just keep, as James said, definitely go to GDC.
So, the reason I know that
it's a convention. Come on, let's go. Save it. February every year.
And it's about a giant screen of death.